Can you hear us well?
Yeah. Yep.
Kind of. Okay. So we have about 1,000 people here in the crowd. Uh, no, I'm kidding, but we're all excited to meet you here. My name is Hi. My name is Neil. I have my colleague Rotem here. We're from NPTech and the owners of the front-end Team community, the largest front-end developers community in Israel. Okay?
Awesome.
And we have a bunch of questions for you. We also, by the way, we also have here Liad Yosef and Idor Salomon, which you did a video on the MCP UI SDK, right? So actually, my first question is, how much did they pay you to do this video?
$0.
Zero. Okay, we get to it. We will get to it. We have a question here. Do you prefer the actual view?
Which one of what?
Reactive view.
I mean, most of the time I'm in React, but no, Vue's cool. The nice thing about doing the Tanstack stuff is I get to actually go across all of these different frameworks because we like to always build out an agnostic layer for us, like a vanilla layer, and then build up support for React and Vue and Solid and Angular and whatever else the community wants to use.
Cool. As a YouTuber myself and content creator, I really want to ask you about your YouTube channel. Why did you start it? How did you start it? How do you choose your content? How much effort and time does it take you? And why? Why do you do it? And why should anybody else do it as well?
Well, certainly not the money. So let's see, how did I get started? So as I mentioned, I was over at Nike and I was doing brown bags on React. So it's my job to do like the principal engineer thing, to do the architect thing. And when you are doing that, you try educating people along the way. These are our libraries, whatever. And I think it was around the time when hooks first came out and people were like, I know like the mental model, I just can't even get it. So what I did was watch brown bags, and I was sitting in a room with like 20 people, like going through all this stuff. I'm like, well, why don't I just like put this on YouTube, and then more people can see it? And so, I did all that, and then of course you do the stuff that is crazy, like you have the super small fonts and all the mistakes that it really does, and so I've been kind of working up scaling up in that, even better cameras, better mics, and all that. Yeah. So why do I do it? Well, I find that personally, if I can teach something, that I know it and understand that, like actually going through all of the edge cases and all the rest of it, so that I can really explain it well, it helps me really understand something a lot better. And how long does it take? I mean, it kind of depends on the video, but it can take anywhere up to a week to actually do all the research, make the code, actually have plot out what the video is going to be like. And then sometimes it just hit I'll do all that work and I'll get like, 5,000 views or whatever.
5,000 is a lot. Like I'm getting 50. I'm getting 50 in Israel. So 5,000 is a lot.
Dim folks, like, if I compare what I had, like, I'm sure like Fireshape would say like, oh, I only got 500,000 views on.
And how do you choose the content? Like it's just what's going on in Twitter or in X.com, or just things you like?
A little bit of both, but I always try and think about what like a practical like front end developer inside of a big company. That's like the kind of folks that I want to talk to, or like your mid senior level developers at like big companies or solopreneurs. So folks that just want to go and like build their own startup, and what can they see in the future as an entry point that's going to make them unique and differentiate their project. So that's, for example, why I covered MCP UI, because it's like I know that MCP UI is going to be a big deal in 6 months, 12 months. So to have people get ahead of it, right? You go and give them the resources right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, we will get to MCP UI soon for sure. But just to get to the edge of it, like, where do you recommend on consuming content for the community here and from the developers, except for Magellan, of course.
Yeah, I generally just have a bunch of RSS feeds that I monitor, the different and also the different newsletters that I get. To be honest, I don't really watch a lot of videos. I do watch Ryan Cariato, but you know, he does talk for like 5 hours at a time. So it's a lot of skipping ahead. He's fantastic. He actually lives locally now. He moved up to Portland with me. And so we get together as well. And he's a great guy just personally. And he's insanely smart when it comes to all these front-end frameworks and he knows everything about every one of them and how they all work internally. And it's great to just have the jam with him on stuff.
Cool. And so last month we host Tanner, your friend, Tanner Linsley. Yeah, it was very cool. It was very cool. And he told us, yeah, it's a good guy. Yeah. And he told us you're an AI expert, a genius, actually, a genius. This is what he said. So we want to get to this subject and eventually to MCP UI. But what is your take on AI? How do you approach it? What tools do you use? And what is the future? Yeah, sir.
I'm a strong believer in agentic coding currently. So we do a lot of I do a lot of that on the team, but I tend to use it for more POCs to just make sure that something can work. And then I'll use like have completion locally to actually kind of like hone and refine it until it's actually something that will meet production standards. So I don't take vibe code itself all the way to production, but I do use vibe coding to actually kind of accelerate the process of getting to a point where I at least understand it, if it can work, how it can be structured, and then build that from there. Let's see what else. I do think like I've been talking a lot about my prediction for the future because these I think these frontier models like the GPT stuff, the Anthropic stuff, they're great, but they're also highly subsidized, meaning that Anthropic pays you pay Anthropic $1, it takes them $3 to run the LLM, and then other companies are layering on top of that, and so they're paying Anthropic and then you get this kind of knowing that you need money on this at the moment. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. And what I think is going to happen is we're going to get to the point where these frontier models are used more like project managers or overseers using smaller like 7B or 3B highly tuned models that actually do the very precise work. So for example, we've been thinking about like got Tanstack form library. It's really good at making forms, obviously. And so would it be cool to have like a 7B or a 3D model that would be tuned to just that? So that then you could offload the form creation work to a smaller model that's a lot cheaper than the frontier models in reality. So there.
Yeah. Are we doomed or not? That's a question. That's a question.
Doomed?
Yeah.
I mean, we're doomed. I don't think any of us are going to stop.
Okay. Let's talk a bit about MCP UI and Liad, and Ido, if you want to join in, please do. Why are you so excited about it? And don't worry about Liad and Ido hearing what you have to say. But seriously, like, why do you think it's the future, and how does Tanstack integrate with this? Because it seems like it's going to be obsolete, no?
Can be obsolete. Okay. Things can be obsolete before you become the thing. So why am I so excited about it? Well, personally, I tend to come at everything from the end customer experience, right? I started coding when I was 13 years old because I like making, games for my friends. So I always look at stuff from like the actual like app perspective on stuff. I don't look at stuff like libraries first. I look at like the customer experience. And so for me, when I chat with an AI, what I really want is I want to be able to say, if I need a graph, right? I just want the graph like right in my chat with me, right? Or if I'm looking for a particular product, I want it right in the chat with me so that it's much more interactive. And that is what certainly client-side tooling allows me to do, and then MCP UI allows me to go and actually make that more portable across different chat experiences. So it's got some, fun stuff in there, like the whole iframes thing, but that's obviously there for security reasons. But that's what I'm looking for, is like a enhanced experience when it comes to integrating with the LLM. Now, is MCP UI the end all be all? Probably not, because there are other modalities of interaction. There's images, there's video, there's audio. So, I think there's more space to be explored in how we interact with these LLMs. But this is certainly a great start.
Okay, cool. By the way, if anybody wants to ask a question, please leave it there. And what I have a question here.
I'd be curious about Edo, about his take on the whole ChatGPT app thing.
Do you hear him?
No, I can't really have him level. Come.
Yeah.
Hey, nice to meet you in person.
Yeah, so Liad and I, when we saw FGTK, it was jarring, but I think it was, I mean, you could say it wasn't completely novel, but now we have MCP apps. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but now that we've worked with, Anthropic and OpenAI to kind of create this unified open standard, it was released on, like, the proposal was released on Friday. So now, I mean, it should be ratified, I think, in the next week or so, and then we'll just have like one spec and kind of get that all. So yeah, you're ready to create a video on SFTK. Can just wait.
Yeah, that's one of the challenging parts of all of this. Is, keeping up with all these changes has been,
And
a lot.
I think one of the motivations, not only having like this unified spec, but only for like from front end development perspective, is I mean, as a front end developer, as a UI developer, you're looking at these changes and you're saying, where should I invest next? I mean, obviously, complex web apps are not going to be obsolete, but are going to be maybe less important in favor of mini apps inside chats. So what should I learn? AppsTK? Should I learn MCP UI? Should I learn something else? So now that we have the MCP apps spec, that can be a go-to for all the developers to start like hacking with, experimenting with, giving feedback, which is super important, and helping like building the not just the next web, but the next web.
Yeah, exactly. And the question is like, can we on like a Tanstack team or the Tanstack Start team, go and make a framework that can make it very easy for us to basically develop not just a web experience, but also an an app, embed an app experience, and have that all from a single code base, so that like as a developer, I don't even need to care. It's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna make my product card and it's just gonna work. It's gonna work, and whether you're on my .com site or you're inside of OpenAI, ChatGPT, or Claude, and then it just becomes a different entry point into that sales funnel, right? And that's why I think people want to go and invest in MCP UI and these kind of things, so that they can go and like get immediate access to a different audience that maybe their competitors can't, and kind of go and get that solopreneur thing. If you can come up with a really cool product, maybe a distinguishing feature of that is that it fits into ChatGPT, and then you get access to a much kind of different crowd that's using mostly agentic like search all the time. And I know my niece, like she just had like an ongoing relationship with OpenAI, and if that will allow her to go and like buy stuff inside of that ChatGPT interface, she'd totally do it. Yeah,
That's the dream. Thank you for advocating MCP UI. Yeah, that's one there. We really appreciate it.
the marble.
And I just wanted to recap. I think once we have it in Raycast, that will be our our way to thank you for this.
When are we getting in Raycast? That will definitely be a video.
Yeah, we'll get them on it. It's in the list.
Okay. Cool. Is there somebody that works on Raycast there? I mean, that's what I feel.
Thank you. Wherever it is, we have a question from Walter, right? Yeah.
Hey, Jack.
Hey,
Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you.
So I think everyone here at least once saw your video to learn something new, if it's React related or web related. And I, as a developer, really feels like the way that we write code or deliver apps is changing. We are less thinking and more structuring. So I feel like if I was in the point that I need to learn things from scratch, how software is working or how the web is writing, I was kinda lost, I think. So how you as a I think lecturer, in my opinion, uh, will guide us to learn from scratch new things and keep ourselves, I don't know, on track as a good developers.
That's a really good question. So I've actually been thinking a lot about this and like even the value of doing these videos anymore. Given that since the rise of ChatGPT, like the video kind of learning market has fallen off. And it's because people, myself included, just, you just go to Claude, right? It's like, oh, I want to learn something new. I just go to Claude. And then I start, prompting it and, working through all the details and have it do the research and all that. So where does video fit into that? Where does content fit into that? And, I've been thinking a lot about that in the context of Tanstack. And I think that there's still space for it. I think what I think will happen is that when people come out with new libraries, new languages, they'll also come out with instructions for LLMs in terms of how to use that, how to actually make that all work. That's something we've been doing on Tanstack right now, is basically coming up with a cookbook for LLMs. Like, here's how you create a route. Here's how you create a server function, blah, 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 blah. But not just that, but like how to actually teach it. And then as part of that, have references to videos that talk about specific sections of the cycle, so that if a person really wants to learn from video, like it can be like, okay, so here's how you set up, but if you want to watch somebody actually go through those steps, here's a video to do that. And then more to the MCP-UI point, like having in that experience, like a video actually embedded, that would be really cool. But I definitely think over the next couple of years, like we're going to see an entire revolution in content and how we put stuff together and how it fits into our development cycle.
And we have a question here about micro front end. Oh, from Moshe. Oh, micro front end. I'm reading it. It's kind of long, I think. Given your support for micro frontends, what do you think about starting with a modular monolith in React and later splitting it into module federation based micro frontends as the app grows?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So interestingly, I was just hanging out with micro front end guys just last week. So the reason that what are micro front ends? Why do I care? So I was working at, again, Nike, and before that Walmart, and these are big companies that have like multiple teams running like their .coms. So you have one team that would do the product detail page, one team would do the home page, one big search page, cart, checkout, all that. Each one is like own team, own developers. They would literally go and ship their own apps, and then they would use like a CDN to kind of wind it all together. So if you had like cross-cutting concerns, like the header and the footer, or like, let's say like a product recommender, you wanted to use both like on the product detail page, or maybe also on the order history page, like, hey, you bought this shoe, here's some others that you might like, that kind of thing. How do you do that? So one way to do it would be to just create a library and just like, okay, that's our order recommender, or this is our header, this is our footer. But the problem with that is that if you grab that library, then you gotta go release like those apps, right? So you're not you have a build time dependency as opposed to a runtime dependency. So micro front ends, in particular this module federation technology, allows you to do like real runtime updating front ends. So that team that maintains the header can just push the header, and then immediately all of the applications that consume that header will just get the updated header or the updated product carousel or whatever it is. So in terms of the question that the guy asked about, like what I would guess, yeah, I think he's exactly right. I would start with a monorepo. You either have multiple apps that would stitch together to one, or a monolith app, and then as organizationally, I needed to go and have those kind of runtime systems to enable different teams to run simultaneously and deploy at the cadence that I want. Maybe I might go with a micro front end for that. Yeah, but it would be it is like it's a tool that you can use when you get into types of sticky situations, but it wouldn't be something that I would rest my architecture on like right out of the box if I was, just a small team or something like that. That's kind of overkill. Sorry if I bored everybody about that, but that's true. I ended up writing a whole book on this because it's a big deal. Like at Nike, we won, and we did exactly what I was mentioning. Like we had a header that was micro front end and all this. So like the first videos where we took off were the ones around micro front ends, because it was something that enterprise developers were like, oh my God, yes, I want that. So
Yeah, it seems it makes sense for going scale, right?
yeah, and to your point about Vue, right? It actually does have the ability to, if you want to go and have like a React app, or if you want to go and if you have an Angular app, and you want to go and say, okay, well, this part could be Vue, or this new feature we're going to try it out in Vue. You could do that because you can actually go in and bring in a different runtime, and yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Cool. And we have a question from Sheer what do you think about SSR, CSR, hybrid? Which one is the best based on the challenges that agents have started surfacing? But anyway, SSR, CSR, RSC.
I don't think agents should use any of that, to be honest. I don't think agents should come in the front door on your app. I think they should come in through MCP. There should be an MCP endpoint that has tools and has an OAuth, sequence, and authenticates you. And then that's what agents should use to go and do it. And that's why I think MCP is so cool, because it gives them a really solid programmatic way to go and connect to your app. And it gives them tools that are like more use case specific. Like I was just talking with a company last week about, like, you don't want to go and have your MCP server basically just be your API, but wrapped in MCP. Like you don't want to have it go and make multiple calls to get something done. Like if it's just like add to cart, you just want add cart. That's it. One tool, go. That's what and it might call 5 different microservices in the background, but make that your agentic UI. And so that's why that would be my thought about what agents should use. In terms of CSR versus SSR, this is one of those where if you say the wrong thing, people will be like, oh no, it's terrible. And the big companies, you want your product detail stuff, your homepage, all that to be SSR enabled, so you get good at the SEO out of it. But I have found, and this is one of the reasons why I kind of started moving away from Next.js, was that they lean too heavily into SSR. And latest numbers we've seen is like, React is 60-40 when it comes to SSR versus or CSR versus SSR. Most folks are using React to go and build spas. And so the TanStack start philosophy is, we're going to give you a really good spa framework, but give you the ability to have server functions and API routes that are all strongly typed. They want to make that up better and to go in when you need those, as opposed to coming out from the server first angle that Next.js and specifically the app router have come out from.
Okay, it makes sense. And by the way, and by the way, we have another question. I think it's in the same subject. Like, what do you think is the future of React? And And you know, we also have React server components, the React compiler, and everything. Like, which direction does it go, and what is the future about it?
That's a cool thing because now with the foundation, we actually get to decide where what the feature is, and we get unique insight into that before it actually happens. So that's I'm hoping for React is it has a roadmap that all of us can see and understand, because that was one of the things that I think pissed most people off about the RSC stuff, is it just kind of seemingly came out of nowhere. It didn't apply to them because, again, 60/40, most people were building spas, so they don't care about RSCs. And that kind of blindsided folks. That blindsided them, Cloaks blindsided them. And so we had this history of React just kind of bringing in game-changing new stuff, which is pretty cool. I mean, from a certain perspective, given how old and how many users React has, they're still taking cool risks like Cloaks and RSCs. But I'm looking forward to a future with React Foundation where it's not a surprise for folks. Like, we know that in 2 years we're going to get, I don't know, whatever it is, caching, or I don't know. To be honest, like I think React is great. I can't personally think of much that I would add to it, but like, then again, that's not like where I like to play.
Okay. I have 2 more questions. We have 2 more questions. Hete.
It's been great. Thank you so much for now.
Yeah, it's really nice. What time is it? Where do I live?
Hey, give 15 more minutes. Oh, what time is it where I am?
Yeah.
It's like 10:30 in the morning. So it's actually quite nice.
Cool. Okay. Here it's late. It's like 9 p.m. Yes, sorry. No, having a good time. So the first question is, it wasn't a question. So the first question is, what are you going to focus about in the next couple of years, next year specifically?
Oh, the library that I'm working on right now is going to be my focus, probably certainly in the beginning of next year. So I love TanStack. I gotta say, like, working with these folks has been amazing. Like, every developer that I work with has been just amazingly enthusiastic about what they work on. So, I want to help make sure that TanStack is maintainable, like from an economic standpoint. And so that's kind of what I'd like to focus on in terms of, getting external support for that external financial support for TanStack because of the stuff that we're working on, that's maintainable and yet sustainable long term. So that we can all do cool stuff and feed our kids at the same time. So yeah, that would be my focus. I really hope to be able to talk about that library really soon, because I'm really just super jazzed about it, and I think it's going to be able to ground shaking. So really just excited about it.
Nice. By the way, this is a good time to mention that Shmuel here in the community, we started a new project, a new platform. Yeah, a new platform that using TanStack Start. Yeah, all myself up. Yeah, so we can experiment and learn that it's a platform that connects between speakers and meetups like we do here. So it will go in production very soon, right, Shmuel? No question. But it's an open source, and everyone can contribute. So we like.
I think with Payload having been acquired by Figma, and let's see, Builder being essentially privately, it's a VC funded company, I definitely think that there's space for a really good CMS that integrates really nicely with TanStack. So that would be awesome to see.
Okay, cool. One last question from Dafna. Please guess. You want to ask?
We have more.
Good. Okay. So you wrote a couple of questions, but I like the one with what tips. But ask what you want.
Tips. First of all, I'm a long-time watcher, and I really love your content.
What's your name?
Daphna or Daphne.
Pete, nice to meet you.
Yes. I'm a bit excited. So, my question is that we're living in it's instant of AI, like you said, just giving us answers. And so I'm curious, like, what part of the front end still excites you if everything's so like this? And like before AI, we used to search in Stacks Overflow and Google, and now we just have the answers. And like for me, that was like finding the answers of how to implement a thing was like the highlight of the whole coding, and now it's like pretty much gone. So would love to know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it for sure. Um, I would say what gets me excited about the future is thinking about like not how AI can replace what it is we do. It's just like how it can make it even so much better. Like for example, I've been thinking a lot about like dashboards recently and how cool it would be to have a dashboard that you would just talk to and be like, hey, I need a chart on this, or I need, some sort of visualization around this. And then that would look for like a library of visualizations of which, you could go and develop some, maybe in like a store or something like that. And it would bring it into your session, visualize stuff the way that you want it. And that it'll go and create like a whole new ecosystem of potential for, us to go and build UI in modular and cool ways and have LLMs kind of composite all that together for us. I mean, there's cool stuff like that we can get into. So I think I'm really excited about the potential of it. I mean, having done all this from like TRS-80 Model 1 days, Apple One days, back in, and seeing all the cool waves of technology, like I'm not as concerned about that because I've seen so many times folks say, oh, the era of the developer is dead. We had this new XML definition of how, we can go build an app with XML. It never works. It never, and we just end up getting more and more developers. And so I think we're in that phase again of like, it sounds scary and it looks in some ways is scary, but it's also filled with amazing potential.
So my question comes from because I've seen another YouTuber of the Syntax podcast.
What's also with those guys?
The one with the mustache. Mustache. No.
Yeah.
From the C. He has a bean and CJ. Yeah, CJ. Oh, okay. So he said that he doesn't like AI. There's no fun in coding, and I was wondering what like he said that before all the fun was solving an issue. So I'm getting that now you're more excited and solving an issue is like building more stuff. That the opportunities that AI can get you. Am I getting is it right?
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like you can develop so fast that it's like you can develop too much at this point. And that's the problem. Is like it's just too exciting. The world is so open ended that I mean I've had this experience recently with like, okay, no, we have to go to production with this, so everything has to be good and solid. And so you vibe code so much, and then you're like, whoa, maybe that's too much kind of thing. And then that's when those skills come back, right? That skill of actually making sure the API is good and structured and everything works, you have tests, so those skills are still there. Those skills are still in item A, will be in item A.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Okay, and Jack, they're closing the place on us. So actually, two more small things. First is a cool question, like when the AI will try to kill us all, and we have to turn off the electricity. We have to turn off the electricity in the entire world. What will you do?
Wonderful. Play guitar, man. Yeah, we'll play a lot of guitar. Yeah, I'm learning guitar recently, and I meant that's one of the things that found really helps me a lot is having something non-techy to do, that like isn't looking at a screen, isn't doom scrolling, and like playing guitar and sing-alongs and stuff has been great. So yeah, finding yourself a skill that ain't techy. That's what advice square. Yeah.
I'm in favor. And last question. When we will see you here in Israel?
Oh, good question. It has more to do with the U.S. so does of Israel, to be honest. Like, things are just so weird here in terms of immigration and all that, that I really look forward to being able to travel more. Although, I gotta say, actually, come to think of it, I am doing Rock and React in Norway in June next year. That's one of the reasons why I'm practicing guitar, is because I want to be able to have a natural song as part of my presentation. And, maybe I do find a way to go down there. So I go,
So Joe,
what folks in Israel are going
June it is.
years.
June it is. Expenses are on us. You are welcome here. Yeah? Yeah. I'm serious. Okay. And that's it. We wish you okay.
Mother, so fast.
Yeah, it went so fast. We had a great time, right? Right, guys?
Hey, thank you.
We really appreciate your time. I wish we could do this again sometimes, physically. And we wish you great. We wish you to just keep doing what you're doing. We love your content. We love you. And thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for a really good beat.
Have a great day.
A good dancing.
Bye, Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
All right, bye, man.